All right, party people, bring it in for Tuesday Voices! Slash, we're collaborating with the very awesome Stitching Circle! It's also going to be collaborating. Yay! So our Tuesday Voice hostesses with the mostesses are Professor Bennett and Dr. Vivian, and they are going to come do their thing. So there's also a sign up for open mic poetry if you're interested. If you haven't, please make sure you do sign up for credit over there. And remember, there is leftover pizza.
I did that once a year for work. We just rearranged.
Okay, so. Oh no!
I do. And I recommend you.
Does that work?
Okay, yeah.
Yes. Okay. So welcome to Tuesday Voices on a Wednesday, and it's Tuesday Voices meet film. So in the spirit of Tuesday Voices, we've got lots of choices here. If you are a poet and you would like to share your own poetry, you are always welcome to come sign up and read. You can also just read poems you like, right, or poems that you wish to share that someone else has written. But I've also got a kind of matched up film that has to do with poetry. And so if you look up here, it's kind of flipping through films from Canopy in the database, right, that have to do with poems or poetry. Some of the films are about fictional poets, but some are about real poets. And so if you would like to join me in reading poems by some of the poets who are in the film, that back table, I've got a stack of books and also stacks of printed copies of poems that are somehow loosely connected to the films in Canopy about poetry. So, and it's a nice kind of eclectic kind of matchup, right? So you could be reading from something very 20th century, or you could be reading from, 1400s in France or wherever. So it's a big mix-up. So I will kick us off with that. I have two poems. I'm going to go ahead and start with one I really liked, and then, maybe I'll read the other one. I picked out two I wanted to share, but I'll hand the stage over to Brooke or to one of the other poets, right? So I'm going to start with a poem by Umar bin Hassan called Frog, right? So abstract in nature, yet so very important to it, he is a warning sign, the inner vision to peace or self-destruction. Calmly and confidently, and eyes wide open, he watches and protects the inner being of innocence, and the beauty of nature inspires him to love and give. He is not ugly, and the prince is not a prince, but he can be crazy like a poet, clinging to the words of gods and demons and the drama of your sneers and the snickers of him. This is love for all, you stuck in boredom and the intense madness of our dark side. In the danger of the forest, he does not separate his emotions. He struggles mightily to control his mind, is open to suggestions if you really want to be human. Lean on me, he expresses sincerely. Lean on me. The water has stopped breathing. The air is bleeding confusion. The earth is beginning to swallow up the young. The threats of mass murder and extinction are all around him, but yet he sits there as constant as ever on that log, on that water, in that forest, hoping, dreaming, and manifesting the reality that humility is a blessing and evil cannot win. So the next person who signed up to read is Sarah San Miguel.
There's a little backstory to this poem. Well, to all my poems. I'm not a poet. I haven't had any schooling or training or education on how to write.
If you write poems, you're a poet.
Right. I think we're all thinkers and feelers, and so we all have the capability of expressing that into words. And so during the pandemic, a group of friends of mine got together over Zoom every weekend, and we just shared poetry together. And we would write every week and just talk. So this one's called Midnight Bird. In the darkness and the cool air, in the clear night sky, I heard a midnight bird. Her song chattered its way through the trees. When I heard her, I wondered what she was doing up at this hour. Who was she singing to? Maybe it wasn't for any suitor. Maybe it was for herself. Her melody rang as clear as day. What could she be singing for? I asked myself, what am I doing up at this hour that I hear birds and write poems? The truth is, I want to be like her. Could I sing a song in the thick darkness of solitude? Could I find peace within the cold branches that surround me? The moon has its own silver linings. Beams of light casted to dance with shadow. In the gloom, there is security, there is peace. Will I have the confidence to do the unexpected? Not for anyone else, but for myself.
Yes. If you submitted it, yeah, absolutely. Do you want to go now?
Okay.
Okay, well, why don't you go on the list that you found, okay? That's actually the only name on our list. If you're interested in reading poetry, it doesn't have to be anything that you've written yourself. Everyone's welcome to come up and put their name on the list. This is truly the definition of open mic going on right now. I'm going to do something a little bit different than what Dr. Vivian did. I'm actually focusing on poems that have been made into films. I have Beowulf and The Green Knight both here. Some pretty ancient stuff going on, but this has been all translated into modern English. So I'm going to read a little bit from both of them. What should I start with?
Beowulf.
Beowulf, all right. I've already gotten to the section of Grendel strikes, so we're going to start there. There's a bookmark in here somewhere. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't introduce myself. My name is Professor Jacqueline Bennett. I teach creative writing, lit, and English comp here. I also host the formal Tuesday Voices, which we do every third Tuesday, right here at the Cozy Corner, with help from the illustrious Nicole Sotak over here. Okay. And I thought I put a bookmark. Oh, there it is. There's just a slip of paper, so it's a little bit difficult. All right, so I'm starting from Grendel Strikes. This, by the way, is the Seamus Heaney version, translated by Seamus Heaney, very, very, very famous Irish poet. And most consider this like the definitive translation of Beowulf. Though there are many, Seamus Heaney's translation is one of the most respected. So here we go. Grendel Strikes. In off the moors, down through the mist bands, God-cursed Grendel came greedily loping. The bane of the race of men roamed forth, hunting for a prey in the high hall. Under the cloud murk he moved towards it until it shone above him, a sheer keep of fortified gold. Nor was that the first time he had scouted the grounds of Hrothgar's dwelling, although never in his life, before or since, did he find harder fortune for Hall's defenders. Spurned and joyless, he journeyed on ahead and arrived at the bawn. The iron braced door turned on its hinge when his hands touched it. Then his rage boiled over. He ripped open the mouth of the building, maddening for blood, pacing the length of the patterned floor with his loathsome tread, while the baleful light, flame more than light, flared from his eyes. He saw many men in the mansion, sleeping, and ranked company of kinsmen and warriors quartered together. And his glee was demonic, picturing the mayhem. Before morning, he would rip life from limb and devour them, feed on their flesh, but his fate that night was due to change. His days of ravening had come to an end. Mighty and canny, Hygelac's kinsman was keenly watching for the first move the monster would make, nor did the creature keep him waiting, but struck suddenly and started in. He grabbed and mauled a man on his bench, bit into his bone lappings, bolted down his blood, and gorged on him in lumps, leaving the body utterly lifeless, eaten up hand and foot. Venturing closer, his talon was raised to attack Beowulf, where he lay on a bed. He was bearing in with open claw when the alert hero's comeback and arm lock forestalled him utterly. The captain of the evil discovered himself in a hand grip harder than anything he had ever encountered in any man on the face of the earth. Every bone in his body quailed and recoiled, but he could not escape. He was desperate to flee to his den and hide with the devil's litter, for in all his days he had never been clamped or cornered like this. Then Hygelac's trusty retainer recalled his bedtime speech, sprang to his feet, and got a firm hold. Fingers were bursting, the monsters backtracking, the man overpowering. The dread of the land was desperate to escape, to take a roundabout road and flee to his lair in the fens. The latching power in his fingers weakened. It was the worst trip the terrormonger had taken to Heorot. And now the timbers trembling and sang, a hall session that harrowed every day, and inside the stockade, stumbling in fury, the two contenders crashed through the building. The hall clattered and hammered, but somehow survived the onslaught and kept standing. It was handsomely structured, a sturdy frame braced with the best of blacksmith's work, inside and out. The story goes that as the pair struggled, mead benches were smashed and sprung off the floor, gold fittings and all. Before then, no shielding elder would believe there was any power or person upon earth capable of wrecking their horn-rigged hall unless the burning embrace of a fire engulfed it in flame. Then an extraordinary wail arose. The bewildering fear came over the dames. Everyone felt it, who heard that cry as it echoed off the wall. A God-cursed scream, a stain of catastrophe, the howl of the loser, the lament of the hell serf keening his wound. He was overwhelmed, manacled tight by the man of all men, by the man who of all men was foremost and strongest in the days of his life. I'm going to stop there. There's a lot more. I'm just going to go ahead and say that I am Team Grendel. Poor guy just wanted a peaceful night's sleep. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, you Stephanie. Did you write?
Yeah. Stephanie.
Please welcome Stephanie Hauser, everyone.
Alright, so it's called Ember. The voices speak, the thoughts echo, the feelings are invoked, the behaviors follow. The heart breaks, the body crumbles, faith is lost over a fellow. Empty words and no thoughts, who am I now? Despised and alone, no one to call my own. I believed in him, and then I fell into sin. Now I am broken, no will to go on, struggling to continue. When will I end? Tears fall into my pillow, pain shoots through me. I now believe no one will ever love me. Hope is gone with what I gave him, destined to be loved by no one. I am nothing but an ember left from the fire that was my desire for him.
Alright, so there are no more names on the list. However, anyone is welcome or to go again if you would like. Or Adrian, would you care
Yes, I'm
to?
happy to. There's also, like I said, if you're looking for a poem to read, there's a big stack of books and poems that are printed out just from kind of randomly connected to the movies up there. So feel free to come dig through as well, right? I'm gonna go ahead and, I'm kind of random. It's just whatever movies came up with that I can find home.
Shall I do a dance while we're waiting for someone to come up? This is the job of the host. You can't leave too much dead air, right? I don't have any knock knock jokes.
No,
or-
but dead
Oh,
air
I
is
have a dad
provocative.
joke. Can I tell a dad joke?
Yes.
Did you hear the one about the letter that has no stamps? No. Don't worry, you'll never get it anyway. Are you ready?
I am.
All right, Dr. Vivian again, number one.
Okay, so this is a poem by Francois Villon. And there, if you watch kind of the rotating PowerPoint, there's a silent film, The Beloved Rogue. It's about this poet. So this time we're going back in time to 15th century France. There's another poem I have by him printed out over there that's pretty bawdy. So if you want kind of kooky, really, kind of old French stuff in English, though, you're welcome to share that one. I chose this one. Ballade des Dames de Ton Jadis, or in English, this translation has it as Ballad of the Ladies of Time Past, right? Because it's got this famous line in it, right? Mais où sont les neiges d'antan? And where the snows of yesteryear are, right? Or where are the past snows? And always, whenever I read that line, it makes me think of being in 9th grade honors English class reading Glass Menagerie, and there's that quote in that, right? So it's kind of taking a twisted path. So why I picked this one? It's in the films. It also, right, takes me back to Tennessee Williams, oddly. So, okay, Ballad of the Ladies of Time Past. So, oh, tell me where in lands or seas, Flora, that Roman belle, has strayed, Thais or Archipiades, who put each other in the shade, or Echo, who by bank and glade gave back the crying of the hound, and whose sheer beauty could not fade, but where shall last year's snow be found? Where too is learned Eloise, for whom Sean Abelard was made, a tonsured monk upon his knees, such tribute his devotion paid. And where's that queen who, having played with Buridan, had him bagged and bound, to swim the Seine thus ill-arrayed, but where shall last year's snow be found? Queen Blanche the fair, whose voice could please, as does the siren's serenade, with Bertha, Beatrice, Alice these, and Ehrenborg whom Maine obeyed, and Joan whom Burgundy betrayed, and England burned and heaven crowned. Where are they, Mary, sovereign maid? But where shall last year's snow be found? Not next week, Prince, nor next decade. Ask me these questions I propound. I shall but say again, dismayed, where shall last year's snow be found? And it's kind of odd because this is actually more recent than the Beowulf that was just read, right? So we're kind of actually moving forward in time. Would anyone else? How did you find the? All right. Okay, well, I think it's
So since we've been having a spate of cold weather, I'm gonna do some Robert Frost, stopping by woods on a snowy evening. Because while it was cold, we didn't have to deal with snow. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. These woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep.
Oh, great. Oh, is it Stephanie?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna hear from Stephanie again, everyone. You're about my size here. So. All right, so I don't know about this one. I like it. Okay. This one doesn't have a title. Blessed to feel the sand under my feet, between my toes. Feel the ocean, the waves against my skin. The heat of the sun, the heat within. To have the rain pour down on me, the clothes cling to my skin. To touch skin, to have it touched, to taste him, to breathe him in, to feel him, to see, to know, to hear him, to know him, my lover, hopefully, one day my friend. Okay, so the other one, like I said, I'm going to read from Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. This is another one of those epic ancient poems that has been made into several different films. The most recent, I believe, in 4 or 5 years ago, I think, not too.
Yeah.
Calling You Window, yes, of course, thank you.
2021-ish?
2021, yeah, sorry.
Dev Patel?
Doug Patel,
Yeah,
yes.
Dev Patel.
Yes.
It's loosely inspired.
All right, so I'm just going to start at the beginning of this one. Start with part 1. So, Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. Sorry, I just recently got contacts, so that's why I haven't gotten my readers yet to see up close. So that's why I'm doing this. So, since the siege and the assault was ceased at Troy, the walls breached and burnt down to brands and ashes. The knight that had knotted the nets of deceit was impeached for his perfidy, proven most true. It was high-born Aeneas and his haughty race that since prevailed over provinces and proudly reigned over well-nigh all the wealth of the West Isles. Great Romulus to Rome repairs in haste, with boast and with bravery builds he that city, and names it with his own name that it now bears. Titius to Tuscany and towers raises, Langobard in Lombardy lays out homes, and far over the French sea, Felix Brutus on many broad hills, and high Britain he sets, most fair. Where war and wrack and wonder by shifts have sojourned there, and bliss by turns with blunder in that land's lot had share. And since this Britain was built by this baron great, bold boys bred there, in broils delighting, that did in their day many a deed most dire. More marvels have that was a tongue twister, hang on. More marvels had happened in this merry land than any other I know since that olden time. But of those that here built of British kings, King Arthur was counted most courteous of all. Wherefore an adventure I aim to unfold, that marvel of might, some men think it, and one unmatched among Arthur's wonders. If you will listen to my lay but a little while, as I heard it in hall, I shall listen and tell anew, as it was fashioned featly in tales of daring do, and linked in measures neatly by letters tried and true. This king lay at Camelot at Christmastide. Many good knights and gay his guests were there, arrayed of the round table, rightful brothers, with feasting and fellowship in careful mirth. Their true men, contented in tournaments many, joined there in jousting these gentle knights, then came to the court for carol dancing, for the feast was in full force 15 days. With all the meat and the mirth that men could devise, such gaiety and glee, glorious to hear. Brave din by day, dancing by night, high were the hearts in the halls and chambers. These lords and these ladies, for life was sweet. In peerless pleasures passed their days, the most noble knights known under Christ, and the loveliest ladies that lived ever on earth. And be the comeliest king that court holds, for all this fair folk in their first age were still happiest of mortal kind, king noblest famed of will. You would now go far to find so hardy a host on a hill. All right, I'm gonna stop there. That was the introduction to Sir Gawain and the Green Knight.
Kicking off our Christmas season.
Right? I wasn't even trying. There you go.
Halloween's over, it's fair games.
There's that lost holiday in between, I think, maybe?
What?
Would anyone else care to come up and read? You can read anything you want. Doesn't have to be film related or.
You know what?
I'm happy to choose what you want to
I'll
choose.
do,
Katie.
yeah, I'll do a Siegfried Sassoon, but it's gonna be depressing, so sorry, folks.
Do you have one you like, or there's some printed ones over
I have one I use in my classes, but it's grim, so advanced apologies.
Just the name of this poem is like your spoiler alert that he suffered from PTSD. I don't think I'm,
Oh, squeeze the,
you know what?
thing.
I'll just step down.
Okay,
It's not really
okay.
high. So this is Siegfried Sassoon, and like I said, the title kind of gives it away. The rank stench of those bodies haunts me still. Right after Armistice Day. The rank stench of those bodies haunts me still, and I remember things I'd best forget. For now we've marched to a green, trenchless land, 12 miles from battering guns. Along the grass, brown lines of tents are hives for snoring men. Wide, radiant water sways the floating sky below dark, shivering trees, and living clean comes back with thoughts of home and hours of sleep. Tonight, I smell the battle, miles away. Gun thunder leaps and thuds along the ridge. The spouting shells dig pits in fields of death. And wounded men are moaning in the woods. If any friend be there whom I have loved, God speed him safe to England with a gash. It's sundown in the camp. Some youngster laughs, lifting his mug, drinking health to all who come unscathed from that unpitying waste. Tear and ruin lurk behind his gaze, while another sits with tranquil, musing face, puffing his pipe and dreaming of the girl whose last scrawled letter lies upon his knee. The sunlight falls, low ruddy from the west, upon their heads. Last week they might have died, and now they stretch their limbs in tired content. One says, the bloody Boche has got the knock, and soon they'll crumple up and chuck their games. We've got the beggars on the run at last. But then I remembered someone that I'd seen, dead in a squalid, miserable ditch, heedless of toiling feet that trod him down. He was a Prussian with a decent face, young, fresh, pleasant, so one dared say. No doubt he loathed the war and longed for peace, and cursed our souls because we'd killed his friends. One night he yawned along a half-dug trench, midnight, and then the British guns began with heavy shrapnel bursting low and Howe's whistling to cut the wire with blinding din. He didn't move. The digging still went on. Men stooped, shoveled, someone gave a grunt, moaned, and died with agony in the sludge. Then the long hiss of shells lifted and stopped, and he stared into the gloom. A rocket curved and rifles rattled angrily on the left, down by the wood. There was the noise of bombs, then the damned English loomed in scrambling haste out of the dark, struggled through the wire. There were shouts and curses, someone screamed, men began to blunder down the trench without rifles. It was time to go. Grabbed his coat, stood up, gulping some bread, clutched his head, and fell. I found him there in the gray morning when the place was held. His face was in the mud, one arm flung out, as when he crumpled up. His sturdy legs were bent beneath his trunk, heels to the sky. Again, sorry, not super uplifting, but it was just the anniversary of the armistice and the end of World War I.
Very timely, absolutely.
Okay.
I don't know if we have anyone signed up, but if anyone would like to read, of course, you're welcome to stick through this table of poetry over there. I've chosen one a little bit lighter. This time it is collections. I'm taking it from the collections of Pablo Neruda's selected poems, right? And this is one of his odes. So it's called Ode to Laziness. I captured my it was hard. I almost did Ode to Tomatoes because I like the vegetable ones too, but this is Ode to Laziness. So yesterday it seemed the ode wouldn't leave the ground. It was time, it should at least show a green leaf. I scratched the earth. Get up, Sister Ode, I said to her. I promised you, don't be afraid of me. I'm not going to chew you up, ode with 4 leaves, ode for 4 hands. You'll take tea with me. Rise, I'll crown you among the odes. We'll go out along the shore of the sea on a bicycle. No use. Then, high up in the pines, laziness appeared naked. I got up in a daze, half asleep on the sand, and I found little broken fragments of oceanic substances. Wood, seaweed, shells, feathers of seabirds. I looked for yellow agates, but found none. The sea filled the spaces, wearing away towers, invading the coast of my homeland, pushing forward successive catastrophes of foam. Alone on the sand, a ray opened, a ring of petals. I saw the silvered petrels pass, and like black crosses, the cormorants nailed to the rocks. I set free a bee dying in a spider's web. I put a little stone in my pocket. It was smooth, very smooth, like a bird's egg. Meanwhile, on the coast, all afternoon, the sunlight and cloud wrestled. Sometimes the cloud was filled with light, like a topaz. Other times, a moist ray of sunlight fell, and yellow drops fell after it. At night, thinking of the duties of my fugitive ode, I took off my shoes by the fire, poured the sand out of them, and almost at once fell sound asleep. That's amazing.
We are technically at 3:30. Do you want to read a little longer or show since we
Oh, yeah. So
shrunk in size?
anyone has a poem, we can keep going. So you got a poem? Awesome. Come on up.
Oh, yes!
So I was just looking for a moment like stick of the frost. I like this one. The courage to be new. I hear the world reciting the mistakes of ancient men, the brutality and fighting they will never have again. Heartbroken and disabled, in body and in mind, they renew talk of the fabled federation of mankind. But they're blessed with the acumen to suspect the human trait was not the possessed human that made them militate. They will tell you more as soon as you tell them what to do, with their ever-breaking newness and their courage to be new.
Right? Oh, was Brooke looking for me? She was looking for me. I don't
me to wrap up early. I just want to make
Nope,
sure you all
you
are
wanna
like,
wrap up all
I
day.
got one.
You've got one, please? Oh my goodness, yes.
Okay.
So this is actually one that I wrote myself a couple months ago. It's called Shattered Reality. A universe of starry oceans, of faint lights and vast blank expanses barely explored. Nature scarce and human life non-existent. As the galaxy spins, as the moon orbits and the sun shines, time does not stop. It moves slow yet quick, all at once. Time waits for not a soul, mortality breathing in and out of reality. The moon watches as her subjects pass through life and death, walking about their tiny planet as if life is all that matters. As if material is what shall bring them peace, and not the happiness humankind is meant to seek. She watches, gaze awash in a mix of pity and anger. They boast their intelligence, their advancements in thought and invention, and yet they are so stupid. Life is rare, life is short, too short to waste it away upon worldly gain. The stars are not quite so sure why the humans care so much about, what was it? Yes, money. Honestly, it seemed kind of foolish. Moon tells Star all the time that this is not what she created them for, but it seems the mortals haven't yet caught on to that. Star thought the humans were smart. She'd heard so much about them too. A species supposedly far more advanced than any that had been created before. Such a great potential at their hands, should they choose to unlock it. And yet, here she sits. Star has spent millennia watching the humans grow, and she herself has grown along with them. And all she can think right now, observing as war befalls the world yet again, is how disappointing. The humans were always so sure of themselves, the only known species to exist, at least to their knowledge. They were so extremely confident. Innovation and innovation. Creation and avaricious creation. Money and money, riches and nothing else. Passion has gone sparse in their history, faded to nothingness, lost in the ashes of a fallen universe. Power takes the reins. It controls the worst of them, corruption and ruin deep-rooted within their subconscious. Star wishes. She wishes things could be better, for Moon had tried so hard. Moon had spent eons upon these creatures, and yet they continue to disappoint her so. Anger boils beneath her soul, and as hate grips the planet of Earth, Star does what any deity should do in case of deficiency. The slate is wiped clean, the generation is remade, something new is born, and the galaxy starts all over again.
I was curious. There was a movie in
No one else on the list. I went upstairs and got a book to read a poem from. I don't know. I know there's a film, a biopic of Sylvia Plath out there called Plath. I think Gwyneth Paltrow, of all people, plays Sylvia Plath in that film. I want to say it's close to 2 decades old. It's an old one. I think it came out in the 90s sometime. Anyway, I'm going to read one of her more famous poems, not Daddy. Lady Lazarus. I'm going to read Lady Lazarus, which is collected in her collected poems. I've done it again. 1 year in every 10, I manage it. A sort of walking miracle. My skin bright as a Nazi lampshade. My right foot a paperweight. My face a featureless fine Jew lemon. Peel off the napkin, oh my enemy, do I terrify? The nose, the eye pits, the full set of teeth, the sour breath will vanish in a day. Soon the flesh, the grave cave ate will be at home on me, and I am a smiling woman. I am only 30, and like the cat I have 9 times to die. This is number 3, with the trash to annihilate each decade. With a million filaments, the peanut crunching crowd shoves in to see them unwrap me, hand and foot, the big striptease. Gentlemen, ladies, these are my hands, my knees. I may be skin and bone, nevertheless, I am the same identical woman. The first time it happened, I was 10. It was an accident. The second time I meant to last it out and not come back at all. I rocked shut as a seashell. They had to call and pick the worms off me like sticky pearls. Dying is an art, like everything else. I do it exceptionally well. I do it so it feels like hell. I do it so it feels real. I guess you could say I have a call. It's easy enough to do it in a cell. It's easy enough to do it and stay put. It's the theatrical comeback in broad day to the same place, the same face, the same brute amused shout. A miracle that knocks me out. There is a charge for the eyeing of my scars. There is a charge for the hearing of my heart. It really goes. And there is a charge, a very large charge, for a word or a touch, or a bit of blood, or a piece of my hair or my clothes. So hair doctor, so hair enemy, I am your obus. I am your valuable, the pure gold baby that melts to a shriek. I turn and burn. Do not think I underestimate your great concern. Ash you poke and stir, flesh, bone, there's nothing there. A cake of soap, a wedding ring, a gold filling. Hair God, hair Lucifer, beware, beware. Out of the ash I will rise with my red hair, and I eat men like air. Someone should check on Sylvia. I don't think she's well.
She's dead.
That was in very bad taste, but I had to do it.
Okay. Anyone else?
We were gonna have Tim talk a little bit about Florida Film Festival, but we're down to a very small crowd. I think we only have some circle left over there. You still want to talk a little? Sure. Because we'd love to hear about it. Okay. I think we're being live streamed through the campuses still, right?
Yeah, it's still on. I can leave it on. Yeah.
Would you need to turn off? Do you want me to turn off the PowerPoint? It's just rotating.
You're on
and moving
NBC.
across the
No, I'm just kidding. It's not. The reach is not.
Hey everybody, so my name is Tim Anderson. I'm programming manager at Enzian Theater. I'm actually also the programming manager of the Florida Film Festival. So there we go. So I guess I can tell you a little bit about Florida Film Festival. I've talked about Enzian a couple times when I've been here already today. But Florida Film Festival is entering its 35th year. And it's an Oscar accredited festival, meaning that we have accreditation from the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences in both our documentary short, animated short, and live action / narrative short category. There's only about 3 dozen or so film festivals in the entire world that carry all 3 of those accreditations. And what that means is that if you win the Grand Jury Award at the Florida Film Festival in any of those 3 categories, then you're eligible to be nominated for the Oscar. So it's a big deal. It's very difficult to get those kinds of things. And because of that, it makes the Florida Film Festival a very high profile, both national and international festival. Even though sometimes it feels like being in your own backyard, it's not quite as big of an event as, say, something like Fringe or EDC. But it's 10 days. We start in April every year. And we do about 180 movies, give or take. We have about 200 filmmakers in attendance. Some are very high-profile celebrities. Mia Farrow and Christina Ricci were at the last festival. Before that, Natasha Lyonne was here with a screening of But I'm a Cheerleader, and there's just been, it's almost too many to count. It's pretty incredible. We open the festival every year in August for submissions. Submissions come in between August and December, and then in January we start to choose the films for the event. There's about 3,000 submissions we get every year. To kind of narrow those down, we have some incredible educators and filmmakers and alumni that are part of the selections committee that weeds all of that down. But really it's about putting on the 10-day celebration in April. And that launches with our opening night film. This year's film was Stolen Kingdom, all about the black market for Disney products that were being stolen off of Disney property, and ultimately an individual who may or may not have stolen a $500,000 animatronic that weighed over 1,000 pounds, and no one, including the Seminole County and Orange County Police Departments or Disney, can figure out how it got off there, who's got it, and where it went. It's a pretty incredible story that was in the national news about 10 years ago. But there it is. This is usually the part where I ask people to ask me questions about it, so I'm just going to ramble on. But if you have something you want to know about the festival itself, feel free to shout it out to me. I'm happy to talk to you about it, sort of individually. I know this is on a live stream, so y'all can't do that, but just think real hard and maybe it'll go psychically into my brain.
Are tickets bought online? Like you have to buy tickets for individual films? Like what's the system or app that
So tickets will go on sale. They usually go on about 3 weeks before the festival opens. We have an opening night, our program announcement party that takes place in mid-March. And then the website will go live. It'll have the announcement of all of the films. It'll have the announcement of all of the tickets for the individual films, meaning you'll know what the movie is, when it's playing, where it's playing, and then you can buy your ticket. In advance of that, you can buy badge sales. Those will start on Black Friday. And those are essentially ticketless access. So you're buying a badge that could be as simple as, I want a matinee badge and I'm going to see all movies that take place before 5 p.m. Or you could buy as high up as a producer badge where you have an all access badge to everything in the entire festival, including the big celebrity events. So, and then there's a few ranges in between there from, festival pass that covers pretty much everything but opening night and the celebrity events to one that covers opening night, but not the celebrity events, and then all the way big up to the top. The reason we don't wrap the celebrity event in is because we don't know how much they're going to cost usually until practically we announce them, because there's some negotiations. So, that's kind of the short version of that. Everything has a long version too, which is that it's not as simple as it sounds. But it's pretty incredible putting together an international film festival for 10 days with over 185 films. Last year, the selection committees watched the equivalent of 163 days of programming over the course of the 20-week window that we were open for submissions. It's a lot of manpower. It's thousands and thousands of hours, and it's a pretty incredible program that at least one professor here at Seminole State is a part of, Rachel Bratton, who I adore. Rachel, if you're watching this. And,
We adore her too.
Yeah, she's the best. We started the festival in 1991 because there was really no film festivals in Central Florida at all. The one that had preceded it had gone under 4 or 5 years before that. Now there are, I couldn't even count them all. There's got to be 100, probably just in Central Florida. Like there's one every year I find out about 4 or 5 that I didn't know were happening that are in the pop. It's just like, didn't know that existed. But this one's been pretty special. We've had a lot of incredible people over the years, like I said. But we've also, when I talk about the 200 filmmakers that come out of the festival, it's really about the networking that you can create if you're in a film fan or if you're an upcoming filmmaker. So go out to the film festival, look for people with that filmmaker badge and meet them, because you really don't know who those people are going to end up being later in life. They're all starting out. So I can tell you that in 2009, I believe it was, Sean Baker was at the festival. He won the Grand Jury Award, and he's been kind of doing stuff with Enzian ever since then, except that he became Sean Baker, 4-time Academy Award winner in one single night. And then just this February was back at the theater to kind of do a little thing on the fly, literally like 8 days after he won the Oscars. So it was sort of like, don't tell anybody he's going to be here because it's going to be crazy. But it also kind of brings back to the year that we had Paperman at the festival. It was the opening night film, and it started Kieran Culkin, who nobody really knew except he was Macaulay Culkin's brother. But he brought his girlfriend at the time, who was basically at that point an unknown actress. And his unknown actress girlfriend is Emma Stone. And so she was hanging out in the lobby and kind of quiet in the corner and would meet people and say, hi, I'm just here with my boyfriend. And then Easy A and Help came out like 6 months apart from each other, like right after the festival. And now she's starring in a movie at Enzian right now. That's playing. So you really truly can't believe who is at the festival, because it might not be for a couple more years until you're there. So it's really important to kind of go out there, especially if you're a filmmaker and this is what you want to do with your life. So that's kind of my biggest pitch on it all the time. But I don't have that much more to say about the Florida Film Festival. There's a lot of information that'll be going up on the website about it. There's a lot of history about the festival's existence and all the things that have played at it. But from us, it's a chance to showcase upcoming talent and really give them a voice. And yeah, maybe 9 times out of 10, those people won't make another movie, or maybe they'll make just something else on the side. You know, the repeat occurrences and success inside of film is very tight. The festival has done such an immense job over the decades, not even, you know, certainly preceding my human involvement, which has been there for about 15 years, is that the filmmakers are very much like family for us. So we're cultivating a vibe, and we want you to go on the journey with us. And I think that's allowed us to call in a lot of those favors that you wouldn't necessarily get to call in later on down the line. So to me, that Oscar accreditations and being named in filmmaker magazines or movie maker magazines as best festivals worth the entry fees and all that doesn't really mean nearly as much as a director telling me a world premiere with you, and then I played 25 other film festivals that year, and I had the best time when I was there. So, and that's sort of why I think we've been able to be as successful as we are without being maybe the kind of destination event we wish the Florida Film Festival was for Central Florida. So if you're out here listening to the live stream on this, or you're sitting in the room here with me, you know, keep us on your radar, come out, tickets go on sale in April, or in March, we're in April, and maybe one day we'll be that huge monster destination event like South by Southwest or, you know, Sundance. Actually, I've been to South by and Sundance, and we don't want to do that. You don't want to go to those either. So it's just like misery. But it does mean a lot when people come up to us and tell us that they saw a movie and they loved it, and we know it, believe it or not. I really like it when someone comes up to me and tells me that they hated the film they just watched and what's wrong with me. So, because at least that means that the movie did something to them, because I think the greatest sin that film can be is boredom. So,
Thanks, Enzian!